So thanks for joining me anyway today, and thanks for all the support I've got over the 4 episodes. And yeah, let's crack on. So today anyway, we're going to talk about aspiring tailors and what it takes and what you need to do, just general tips on what to do if you want to be a coat maker basically. So we're going to cover all those kind of things, and cover like equipment that is needed, essential tools that you will use as a coat maker to make the job better. I've got lapel patterns, I've got loads of different things, tools that I've used over the years that will be useful to you as well. Just makes the job a lot easier. I'll give all the measurements in the edited cut so that you can have those, so you can take patterns off what I've got. And I'll just show you just basic tools that I use and used over the years, from, you know, if you don't have a lot of money and you just want the basic essentials, to, you know, you want to invest and you've got the money to do it. So yeah, I'll just cover all those kind of bases today anyway, about tools and just knowledge of tailoring, and how to get in and start up, whether you want to start your own brand as well on a budget. So yeah, we'll cover all those stuff. Yeah. So like I said, last episode today. So what I will be doing as well, I will be offering private lessons for people that want to do you know, more knowledge on tailoring, and they're at a specific stage in their you know, making career, so to speak, whether they want to take it seriously and thinking about, you know, getting more lessons, and they're at a certain stage where they know enough to kind of make the jacket look okay, but they just want, you know, a bit more reassurance that they're doing the right thing. So I know what it's like when you're learning and you need to get like some extra tips on whether you're doing certain things right, because you could be doing certain things wrong and just not know it, you know. So I'll be offering my services. I'll be doing private lessons via Zoom or Skype or whatever, and doing a little bit discount rate anyway for also all the lockdown people at the moment. But yeah, I'll offer that service. So depending on what stage you're at, whether you're going to need, you know, 3 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, whatever, do you know what I mean? I'll cater it towards individual needs and what stage you're at. You know, you might get some people that, you know, they kind of know how to make a jacket already, but they just need little tweaks and just want me to double check, you know, so I can go through certain phases, whether, you know, you post in your jacket to me, I'll check it over, I'll look at it, and I'll see you might need some tweaks on certain areas, and I'll post it back to you, and I'll give you some notes, and we do a Skype call or whatever. You know, we can work something out depending on obviously the different stage you're at. So I've got your back, don't worry, we'll deal with this anyway. Yeah. So saying that, let's carry on. People that want to get into the trade, and people that want to, you know, there's 2 brackets of people. There's people that want to do it like a hobby, that people that, you know, I know some people that could sew really good already, and they're really good machinists, and, you know, they could do bridesmaid dresses, they could do loads of stuff. But when it comes to tailoring, they might want to know more about tailoring because they want to do some stuff for friends and family or for themselves or whatever, you know. So there you got those type of people as well I want to kind of cater for. And also the people that, you know, are nearly finished their apprenticeship, or they're studying, they're doing courses already. There's loads of great courses out there, you know. Bespoke Academy, London College of Fashion, they've got some bespoke courses. You know, there's some courses out there that people that want to take it to a next level as well, that want to take it professionally. So, you know, there's different levels of different people that I want to kind of, not say give advice, but I want to kind of give you a rough idea basically of what direction to take, and this is just gauged on my own experience, you know. So if you're looking to take it as like a hobby basically, and you want to know where to start, the good thing is there's so much content on the internet nowadays. There's so much information that you can get regarding like tailoring, like on books, YouTube. You know, there's information that you can get to make a jacket. I mean, when I started, like in '96, when I was learning, I just got, you know, butterwick patterns and stuff like that, had instructions in it that could show me how to make. And it was all machine jacket, but, you know, it's like, for instance, that post I put up on my Instagram of the first jacket that kind of got me my job industry. That jacket, that was from, you know, a pattern that I got from a shop, butterwick pattern, and it had instructions how to make a jacket. I didn't know about bespoke, obviously, but I tried to make the best machine jacket I could make. And I thought, okay, now I've kind of reached that stage now. I mean, to be honest, I did about 30 jackets before I actually did my official first jacket that I thought I was happy with, because you know how it goes as makers, you know, you don't want to show certain work if you're not happy with it, and it might take a while before you get to a stage where you're like, yeah, I'm happy with this jacket now I can show it to the world, you know. So there's different levels, but if you're going to do that, then that's fine. You know, you can learn through pattern books and all sorts just to get to that stage. But if you want to take it to another professional stage and you want to approach tailoring shops where you want to approach Savile Row, like I said before, you know, you just need to take your samples in and learn as much as you can, yeah, from YouTube, from books. Learn as much as you can, do as much as you can, keep repeating it. It's just repetition, like everything, you know how it goes. Just keep repeating it until you get to a stage where you like, you know, you feel a bit more comfortable with what you're doing and you think you can bring it to, you're never going to be like 100% happy, never going to be 100% happy, but at least have something to show to the shop so that they can gauge that, okay, you're decent. So that's my advice if you want to take it professionally. And I know it's hard. I know a lot of Savile Row shops, obviously they haven't got, you know, places for people to necessarily do their work there, but it's not all about Savile Row, to be honest. Yeah, there's loads of other great tailoring shops out there as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's, you know, I don't want to say it's not all about Savile Row, because when I started out, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to work on Savile Row. So you know, at some point you might have to get that bit out of your bonnet and actually do that. But if you can't get in there, then try somewhere else first, you know, and start off there, and you might get a foot in the door from them seeing the samples of work that you've got, and it might take you on maybe even doing alterations or something, or doing waistcoats is a good start as well. You know, you start off and you work your way up, start working around other tailors in the workshop that might be doing coats or whatever, and start learning from them, do it on your spare time. And then you might want to go on to another shop or approach a Savile Row shop and say, I've got a lot more experience now, this is what I want to do. And they might not have room, but you could do it from home until, you know, they've got such time where one of the shops have got space for you to go in there, you know. So you just got to keep at it. I know it's hard, but you got to be patient. You got to be patient. Yeah, just got to be patient. So like I said, I've got anyone's back that wants to get any advice, I'm here. Just DM me. Don't know everything, but just from my personal experience, I can pass it on to you guys if you're having trouble getting in the trade, or just trying to get on, just knowing the procedures or what exactly to do, what book to follow, all those kind of things. Yeah, so just give me a holler. And like I say, I'm doing private lessons as well, so you know, DM me about that information and I can tell you costs and stuff. I'm not charging no crazy money, don't get me wrong. I didn't do all of this to lead up to doing like lessons and stuff, because I wasn't really going to do it at first, but I thought, you know what, I like doing one-on-one sessions, and I thought at this time, if there's people that want that while we're on lockdown, then by all means we can do it. Yeah, so saying all that, let's just move on now. Career-wise, there's kind of 3 options you can go down career-wise, right? If you're not going to work in-house, yeah, if you can't get in-house and work in-house, I mean, you've got to have an aim as a coat maker, I suppose, and what you see as your end goal. Like for me personally, when I wanted to do coats, my end goal was, I visualized actually walking in to a tailoring shop with a suit jacket in my hand, ready to deliver it, you know. So I didn't really think ahead of like whether I was going to be working in a particular shop or anything. I just imagined me walking in a shop as a professional coat maker. So you kind of got to visualize where you see yourself. But also, if you're coming to the end of your learning part of your coat making, you just got to start thinking about where you want to base yourself, whether you want to be based in a shop as an apprentice, yeah, and then learn from there, and then stay in a shop and get paid a salary. There's not many tailors that get paid a salary nowadays. It's a lot more self-employed. But if you're lucky to do that, I would always recommend try going for getting employed, because then you can just relax, concentrate on your craft, build up your tailoring skills, and be comfortable without worrying about, you know, piecework and when you're going to get your next job and all that kind of stuff. I would do that for, you know, as long as you can. And if you feel like you get to a stage, because I know what it's like when you're an apprentice sometimes in a workshop, you feel like, you know, you can't move on from that, and the company will always see you as an apprentice, so it's hard for you to move on. So sometimes it might be ready for you to move on, and you could go on. And I would always advise as well, it's good once you get to that stage to work from home also, because when you work from home, you have to rely on your own skills. You have to perfect your art. You have time not to be around anyone, to just actually zone in and correct and do everything, just repetition, get a nice system, get your speed up, and you know, you're able to refine what you're doing basically. And working for other companies, you can freelance as well, and maybe you might even want to set up your own label. Setting up your own label, that will mean that you have more leeway to do that if you're freelancing and working from home, because then you can manage working for other companies and balance out doing your own company as well, where you can visit your own clients and do your own stuff, you know. So there's so many different avenues. So I'll just advise, if you want to be a coat maker professionally, just think about what avenue you want to go down, you know. Saying all that, initially you just want to learn, right? So you just, like I said, there's so much information out there that you can get, and if you can't get the right information and you need, like I say, you know, there's universities, there's places that you can learn. There should be no excuses why anybody can't make a jacket, you know. There should be no excuses. You can learn if you really learn. Just dedicate yourself to it, all right? So anyway, let's crack on. I'm gonna show you some collar patterns that I've got. I was going to show you them. Won't really go through the measurements of them, because what I'll do, I'll probably upload that on YouTube anyway, how to do the measurements, but I want to just show you what they're for, okay? So right, so anyway, this is a jacket I've ripped down, right? Just going to give you an example. So when you're going to make up your jacket and you're doing your pad stitching in your lapel, yeah, and you're getting ready to mark your facing and cut your lapel, yeah. The reason why I use patterns for this, here's a pattern here, right, is, all right, one pattern is not for all, obviously. Yeah, you've got different, I got different size ones, but say you've got a collar that is 4 1/4 wide, okay, on that bit there, 4 1/4 wide. I just get my 4 1/4 wide pattern, and what I'll do, I'll just mark off where the neck point is, where the shoulder line, yeah. I'll mark my waistline, and then I'll put the pattern on there, and I match it up to the top, yeah. I'll mark that off to the top, yeah. And then this is where I will just mark this bit here of the lapel, okay. And then that's how I will get my lapel distance from the shoulder line, because if you don't have a measurement or a distance that you're going to have this breaking point of the lapel, yeah, then what happens, you could just be guessing it, and then before you know it, you might do the lapel too low, yeah, and then the collar's going to be really long, and it just don't look right, you know. So it's always good if you have patterns that you might have a similar, you might have a set kind of style that you want your collar to always look on your lapels, yeah, on your collar, on your lapels. So you might need to either just measure that point all the time from the shoulder down, yeah, and always keep that point. But I just find it easier having a collar pattern. So I'll show you the measurements of how to these collar patterns anyway, because they're really handy, you know, just to keep your lapel consistent all the time. So I have those ones, and I have these ones as well, notch lapel. These ones handy as well. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have like different sizes all the time, because usually I just use one, and then I mark where the collar width is, and I might just put it over to that point, yeah, and that bit there, don't worry about it. You just make sure that point at the top is lined up to the shoulder line, and that way I just mark this bit here, yeah, and then I use my ruler, curve ruler, to mark the rest. As long as I get the top bit for the top peak and that bit done, then the rest I just use my curve ruler, okay. So that's those patterns I've got, and then I've got, which I use, obviously I use the under collar melton pattern on the bias. I've got those patterns, and then what is also useful is your curve pattern for the end of your jacket, yeah. That comes in handy as well, all right, because it might be difficult to always cut in individually your curve, so it's better if you just use a pattern as well. You might have a certain curve shape that you want as your signature style, and I'll suggest using a pattern for that, so you always get it spot on, all right. And also other patterns I've got my lapel, the collar pattern. So when you're doing your collar, right, to always get that same kind of look, once you've marked your collar 1.5 inches at the back, I always mark across the shoulders, mark across there, and I do 1.75 inches. Once I mark that bit, and then I fill it up, I mark around that bit. To get this mark here, this line here, I use a pattern. So I've got a little notch there, if you can see it. I place the notch right on that bit there, and I angle this curve bit on the shoulder line bit there where I've marked 1.75 inches. And all I do is mark it there and mark it down, and then I cut it. So that's how I know how to get my shape always correct and on point all the time, yeah. So I've got that pattern as well. So that's all my patterns. So for canvas as well, these are the materials that I use. There's the Lining Company, yeah, they like I said, they're pretty good. They do linings, all sorts of trimmings. So whatever you want, needles or whatever you want, you can get that from there. I use, like I say, heavier ones for, I think I covered this one already, heavier ones for lightweight cloth. And I then I'll use this number if you want. That one for lightweight cloths. And then I'll use a lighter one, which is this one, for heavier cloth, okay? And then for collar canvas, you would need a nice firm, I like a nice firm stiff collar. Same company again, lining company. I use this one that's on top here, okay? It's really nice and firm and gives you a nice structured collar, all right? But like I said, there's other companies as well. You got, you know, Kenton trimmings. You got so many other ones. I'll just show you around. This is my garage, by the way, all right? So I've got main essentials. I use a presser board, yeah? It's suction, yeah? So once I press that, it sucks all the air through, and especially good when I'm doing like suede and stuff like that, yeah? When I need to fuse it behind the suede, especially like goat suede, this to me to make it a bit more stronger. It's good to have a nice suction and steam pressing board, all right? This is the iron I use. Don't worry, all the details I'll try and cover that anyway in the edited cut. So this is the iron I use. It's a 12-pound iron. It's quite heavy. This iron is a really good one. You want to find an iron that's got a nice point on it as well, so you can get right in those seams, you know. This one here is also a great iron. I use this a lot because it's still quite heavy, 12-pound, and it's a dry iron and a steam iron as well. I use it for both, you know. So I use obviously my water to spray for this one, and my dobber as well that you have in a cup, and then you have like your dobber that you use. It looks a bit manky, I know, but you know, I need a new one. So you know, I've got 2 irons that I use depending on what I'm working on. And what you need, I mean, if you're starting out, you don't need all this stuff, to be honest. You know, I've made a jacket from using a house iron to be honest. As long as you've got an iron, yeah, and you've got a board, right, and you've got, this is a machine that I've got. This is a domestic, obviously, but it's a heavier duty domestic, so it's quite good. I can make a jacket on this as well. So if you don't have a lot of money and you can't invest in an industrial machine like this one I got here. This is my industrial machine, right? This is quite good. So I prefer the electric machines. Just turn it on. It's quite easy to use, and it stops on the stitch when you need it to stop. And also it speaks to you. Well, you know how it gets lonely when you're working in a workshop on your own, so you need, you know, at least your machine will talk to you. But anyway, so this machine here is quite good, like I say, if you haven't got a lot of money. Probably costs about 300 quid, I think, something like that. Only thing is the foot, you have to get used to it because it's different from the industrial ones. This one is a little bit wider, yeah, but it still sews great. And if you feel like you need more coverage of a table, then what I used to do, I used to just put boxes around, just put boxes at the side that's the same level, and that way you can put a jacket on it and it's not going to fall at the sides and stuff like that, so you get better control. Yeah, so if you don't have a lot of money, just get, you know, and there's other Singer machines as well, that old school ones that are quite good as well, industrial, quite heavy, but that's just a modern one. So yeah, I've got that I use, and I also use a leather machine, which is this one here, and yeah, it's quite good. It's a walking foot machine, so I'm excited to use that. I love working on leather and suede. So this is my suede. I've got some suede here, so if anyone wants to know where I use my suede for my jackets, this is an old one that I've done years ago. This is quite heavy. I think this is cow hide, so it's really thick. This is when I didn't really know about what suedes and, you know, stuff to thickness to use, and I bought it and I realized how thick it was. It's too heavy, but now I know, obviously, you use, you know, goat suede is a lot better. But anyway, get back to the materials and tools. So obviously you need to use the right scissors, one for cutting your paper, pattern paper, one for actual tailoring, and one going on. Yeah, and generally for making coats, all you need, you'll have a curve ruler, you'll have your 12-inch wooden ruler. If you can't get a wooden one, I know they're hard to get nowadays, then I think I got this off eBay. Then get a metal one's fine. Obviously tape measure, standard stuff. I've got my block for when you're pressing, then you can just conceal, you know, the press to make it a sharp edge or whatever. You know, got sharpener. I'll give you information where I get sharpener. And thimble obviously is the most important thing. And we as tailors, we use thimbles that don't have the top on, obviously. Yeah. And that's very important because, yeah, you don't want to sweat your finger. And plus, we're not darning and using that bit. We're actually sewing from, you know, the side there, right there. Okay. So it's important to have one that actually fits you correctly. Yeah. So you don't, that bit is not sticking out too much. Okay. It's just, it should be quite flush. All right. Also, my needles are important because you've got to get the needles that actually fit you. You know, when you're sewing, it's not fiddly and you're not losing control. So I use betweens, and it's size 6. Those are great for kind of all rounders. They're not too cutting out. Yeah, back again. Yeah, so that's what I use. So books as well. I did have this book. Now I've just got the paper because sometimes you lend out books, you don't get them back anyway. So I just thought I'd show you the first book that I got was this one anyway. Yeah. This book is very good because it shows you illustrations of how to make, and this is what I used when I first started out. But nowadays we've got, like I say, YouTube clips and more developed books that show you a bit more up-to-date kind of images, because this is really old school, but it's still a great book, to be honest, still a great book. And this one, this is another great book. This one it just shows you all old school ways of cut, not old school ways, it just shows you simple ways and directions of how to cut a basic block. Yeah. And if you want your own style, basically, then you just tweak it up, but it's a good basic block to start from. I've used this is my tailoring Bible, man. I've used this from day one, and I know other people that have used it. My good friend, got to shout him out as well, Shane Errol, trouser maker, best trouser maker on the row, Savile Row Huntsman's, it's working in there. He even used this book from the start, yeah, and he swears by it as well. It's a great book. So I would say even trouser cutting, jacket cutting, that's the main book you need to get. Yeah. Here's another book here from my good friend Jo Baker. Jo Baker Waters. So she is amazing. This book here, it's another level, man. This actually got me motivated to do women's wear. That's what I'm talking about. I've been in men's for so long, and I come across this book and I'm like, do you know what? I want to do women's wear now. This is actually inspiring stuff, and it's got good illustration stuff and great detailed pictures. I know she's not, 100% happy with it because she would like to put more in it, but still, it's amazing. It covers a lot of angles, and it just breaks down everything. This is a great book and great illustrations. And yeah, this is amazing. This book is amazing, and I can't wait to see what more she's going to come out with. If she's, she's just really wants to put out more stuff that has got more information for, up and coming aspiring tailors. So this book is great as well. I would suggest that for women's wear, and this one for men's wear. This one is just generally if you're into fashion as well. But not just that, if you want to start your own label and you're into like just basically you want to research the decades, and this is a great book because it just shows you all the different decades, all the dress wear, because back in them days it was like day wear, it was evening wear, sports wear. Obviously it wasn't like tracksuit sports wear, it was like a sports coat, but it's got so much different decades of information of different genres and styles over the years that it's just a great source of information, basically, if you're looking to research a particular era or whatever. So I'll recommend this one as well. What else do I need to cover for you guys? Sleeve board. Obviously you need a sleeve board. That's essential as well. And labels. So like if you're starting out your own label, you don't need to spend loads of money. The main thing you need, get someone to design a logo for you. You can do it yourself on Illustrator or Photoshop or whatever. Get it done yourself, upload it, send it to get made. Yeah, you can get a minimum of 150 labels done. I usually get these ones done, yeah, and put them on the not outside of my jacket, outside of the lining. And I have these ones, which are for bespoke. For the customer ones, basically, I will type in the customer's name. This is a sample one. This one I did for a stock model. So this is how it's typed out, basically. And this is what I use. I use a typewriter, really old school typewriter. I think I must have picked it up for like, I don't know, 50 quid off eBay. And yeah, I just have to line it up, and then it types out. So you can put the customer's name, yeah, because that's what we do traditionally on Savile Row. You put the customer's name on a you put the customer's name on a label, and this is what you stitch inside the pocket. Yeah, so the customer has a reference and all that. So I would suggest all you need is the labels to start off with. Yeah, your logo, Instagram account, website, just basic, and just your basic tools, and you can get going, you know. So yeah, that's that. And my pattern paper, got a bit of a mess in here, like I say, but it's my pattern paper I use. It's like brown paper, that's the decent stuff. And then I also use, I'll show you, like if you're having a workshop, you always need a printer, obviously, all right? And I've got all my pattern papers here. I mix them up because I use that spotty one as well, and I use card, because sometimes I might be doing a lot of sampling, and this paper is a lot more expensive than the brown one, so I like to use this one first just for sampling a lot of stuff, and then when I know that the pattern's great, then I'll use the brown paper one. Do you know what I mean? So it just saves you using the brown paper one all the time. So I mix and match according to which ones I use. I know some people, they just use this one and they're quite happy using this one all the time, and which is good, because sometimes you can just fold this up and put it in an envelope and then put it in, I've got like drawers over there, I put mine in drawers, so that you don't have to have them all hanging, basically. And you can't really do that with the card. Well, you can, but it just, obviously it will be more thicker envelope that you're going to put it in, and it's just easier if you do it on paper. So you don't necessarily have to have it hanging, but I like to have them hanging because it's like a traditional, you know, tailoring kind of vibe. So that's how they do it. That's how they do it in a traditional tailoring shop. So that's how I like to have it. But I do have some in my drawer as well that, you know, I don't put them all up there. So also mannequins. Right, all my mannequins, right, I've got cheap one and I've got expensive one, right? This expensive one, everyone probably knows the Kendall ones. These are about 700 quid to get them made, yeah? Which is great, you know. It's not Kent, was it Kent? That's the name. Yes, the one. Yeah, about 700 quid to get made. They're really good. I mean, you haven't seen them in most fashion houses. But to be honest, I think these ones are still okay. These ones are from Moorplan, yeah. They're lightweight. They're not as sturdy. But I mean, you're not going to be carrying them around all over the place. Once you've got them in your workshop or studio or whatever, they're just going to be there in one place. But I like these ones because they're narrow. They've got more of a... They're good for camera shots also because they're more slender. Not to say you can't get these Kenton ones, you can't get them slender because you can get them bespoke how you want. But I just feel like these ones, obviously, they just do the job without paying the money. Do you know what I mean? But I like to have both. You know, I like to have both. But it's not all about, you know, name brand and buying the most expensive stuff. If you want to do it on a budget, you could probably pick up one of these for, I think it's like 30 quid, 60 quid. I can't remember now. I got it years ago. But check out Moorplan for them.